Things have taken a surprising and unsettling turn in the crypto markets, leaving many investors scratching their heads. Events have unfolded in ways that few expected, and at first glance, none of it seems to make sense. It almost feels as though the biggest players in the space know something that the average investor does not, and this could very well be one of the most important turning points in the history of cryptocurrency. So what exactly is going on? Let me break it all down. First, a quick disclaimer. Cryptocurrency remains highly volatile, and none of what we discuss should be taken as financial advice. Now, as we've discussed in previous updates, the German government has been actively selling its massive Bitcoin holdings. This sell-off has had a heavy impact on the entire crypto market, dragging prices down and fueling fear among investors. For weeks, it felt like a non-stop bloodbath. However, here's the good news. Recent reports show that Germany has now sold off more than half of its reserves. That means this intense wave of selling is finally winding down. Many of us were worried that the selling pressure would continue indefinitely, but the fact that they're past the halfway point brings some relief. So, what does this mean for us as investors? With that heavy selling pressure easing, the market might finally be positioned for recovery. Already, we've seen signs of optimism returning, with charts beginning to show green candles again. It raises the question, is this the moment the market shifts from fear to hope? Well, not so fast. Just as things began looking slightly brighter, something unexpected hit the headlines. Ethereum whales, those elusive giants of the crypto world, made a sudden move that has left many stunned. According to on-chain data from Spot On-Chain, a whale that had been silent for more than a year and a half suddenly transferred over 7,000 ETH, worth around $21.4 million, to the Kraken exchange. Now, for those who don't know, when crypto is moved to an exchange, it usually signals an intent to sell. This means the whale wasn't just moving coins around, they were preparing to cash out. What makes this move more shocking is the timing. This particular whale originally accumulated their ETH back at the beginning of 2023 when the market was still clawing its way out of the bear cycle. By selling now, they've secured a staggering 149% profit, pocketing nearly $13 million in gains. From their perspective, this was a perfectly timed exit. But for the rest of us, it raises serious questions. Why would a major Ethereum whale cash out now, just when optimism is building again? Because here's where things get even more confusing. On the one hand, we have this bearish signal from the whales dumping their coins. But on the other hand, we've received some of the most bullish news possible for Ethereum. The long-awaited spot Ethereum ETFs appear to be on the verge of approval. Big names like Van Eck and 21 Shares are pushing their applications toward the finish line. Bloomberg's senior ETF analyst, Eric Balchunas, has even stated that most of the current updates are procedural, meaning these ETFs could be approved and launched at any moment. So let's ask the obvious question. If Ethereum ETFs are about to go live, a development that could potentially flood the market with institutional investment and trigger a new bull run, why would a whale sell now? Is it possible that these large players know something we don't? Or are they simply trying to manipulate the market, creating panic so they can buy back in at lower levels before the real rally begins? It almost feels like we're at a crossroads. On one side, there's bullish sentiment building from the anticipated ETF approval, which could spark a massive upward wave. On the other, there's this bearish signal from whales dumping ETH at what seems like the worst possible time. Could it be a bear trap designed to shake out smaller investors before the big move? Or is it just a matter of whales locking in profits after a long hold? Either way, it's unsettling to watch. This tension becomes even more important when we consider Shiba Inu's place in the ecosystem. Remember, Shiba Inu is built on Ethereum's blockchain. Any turbulence in Ethereum directly impacts SHIB, whether through sentiment, technical integration, or broader liquidity in the network. If Ethereum faces challenges because of whale sell-offs or negative press, Shiba Inu inevitably feels the ripple effects. And speaking of negative press, there's another layer of drama unfolding. Legendary trader Peter Brandt recently made headlines with a scathing comment about Ethereum. Responding to a debate on social media, Brandt dismissed Ethereum in a way that couldn't be ignored. While someone praised ETH as superior to Bitcoin, Brandt mocked Ethereum with dismissive emojis, clearly showing his lack of confidence in the project. Now, it may sound trivial, but Brandt is one of the most respected traders in the world. His opinions can sway market sentiment dramatically. When someone of his stature throws shade, it creates doubt and often leads to sell pressure from traders who take his views seriously. For Ethereum, this kind of negative attention could spell increased volatility. And since Shiba Inu's foundation is tied so closely to Ethereum, its price action could also be impacted by this wave of skepticism. It's another reminder of how deeply interconnected the crypto space is. A comment aimed at Ethereum can, indirectly, rattle the Shiba Inu community. But even with these concerns, the potential upside of an Ethereum ETF cannot be overlooked. Imagine what happened when Bitcoin ETFs were approved earlier this year. Billions of dollars flowed in within weeks, lifting the entire crypto market. If Ethereum ETFs launch with the same kind of momentum, we could see a massive wave of institutional money enter ETH. That doesn't just boost Ethereum itself, it lifts everything tied to it, including Shiba Inu. The added liquidity, higher trading volumes, and renewed investor confidence could push SHIB to new levels. Of course, we can't ignore the risks. The strategic sell-off by whales and negative commentary from figures like Brandt create uncertainty. It makes us question whether these big players know more than the rest of us. Are they preparing for a downturn that we can't yet see? Or are they simply shaking out retail investors to scoop up even more profits later? Right now, Shiba Inu is showing modest signs of strength, with a 3% gain in the daily time frame. Its price movement has stabilized, which might seem quiet compared to recent volatility. But quiet markets can often signal that something big is brewing. This could very well be the calm before the storm. As Ethereum ETFs approach, Shiba Inu's fate will likely follow Ethereum's trajectory. Personally, I see this period of stability as a potential launchpad. With the excitement around Ethereum ETFs and renewed optimism after Germany's Bitcoin sell-off began winding down, the conditions are building for a major shift. If the ETF approval hits, the influx of money into Ethereum could send shockwaves across the entire ecosystem. And Shiba Inu, being one of the most popular tokens built on Ethereum, could ride that wave to new highs. Yes, there are challenges and uncertainties. Yes, whale sell-offs create fear. But the bigger picture shows us a market preparing for its next major chapter. The Ethereum ETF may become the catalyst for an entirely new cycle, and for Shiba Inu holders, this could be the opportunity they've been waiting for. So the question now is, what do you think? Are these whales just locking in profits, or are they signaling something much darker that we haven't seen yet? Do you believe the Ethereum ETF will be the game changer that sparks a new bull run, or are we heading for more turbulence first? Share your thoughts, because your insights add value to this community. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like and comment below. It really helps spread the word and push this video further through YouTube's algorithm. Share it with others so more people can stay informed about what's happening in the crypto space. For now, all eyes remain on Ethereum, the ETF approval process, and how Shiba Inu reacts as events unfold. One thing is clear. This story is far from over, and the next few weeks could define the future for both Ethereum and Shiba Inu.